This is Chris, the Idaho Painter here on Paint Live TV. Today I'm going to be talking about interior brushes. I keep getting asked across my social media, what brush do I recommend on interior painting? Now I've got three brushes in front of me here, the Malibu, the Hampton, and the Brook. I'm going to be talking about these brushes and give you a recommendation of what brush I would use when it comes to interior painting. So if you want to know my opinion, stay tuned for this video. All right, so I'm going to talk about the three brushes that I use for interior painting. I've got the Brook here we're going to be talking about. I've got the Hampton we're going to be talking about, and then the Malibu. And when it comes to these brushes, and I'll just talk a little bit about Premier. It's a paint roller and brush manufacturing company in New York, a family-owned and operated company. And their professional line of brushes, this Premier line, their professional line, they're all handmade right in New York. And I've got to tour the facility, tour the factory, meet the owners. Absolutely incredible people, an absolutely incredible product. And every time I get one of the brushes, they're consistently made high quality from the handle to the ferrule, and they only use the best filaments. In the professional line of brushes, they use DuPont filaments, which are hands down the best filaments in the world. So for me, I've used a lot of brushes over my career. Premier is the best brush, their professional line of brushes, best brushes that I've ever used. Now I'm going to talk about the Brook specifically because this is a brush that I worked with the Premier company and Kevin Lecter, the owner of the company, to design this brush and get a brush just the way I wanted it. It's the Brook. It's actually named after my older daughter. It's got Paint Life, our logo on it, and it's only sold at Paint Life Supply Co. So it's an amazing brush. It's a brush for all paints with a firm blend. This is the brush I absolutely love doing cut-ins with. It's firm. It's excellent for doing cut-ins. With today's paints are pretty thick, and you need a stiff, firm brush to do good cut-ins with when you're painting interiors. And I'm talking about ceiling lines, cutting around door jambs, cutting around window trim. The Brook brush, it's a blended brush. It's Tinex and Oreo, so it's got a blend of the right filaments to just give you just the right stiffness. It's for all paints and stains, so you can use it inside and outside. I particularly use this thing inside for if I got to do any brushing of any type of walls, or I even use it doing trim. I'm going to talk a little bit about some other options when it comes to painting trim. But if you want super straight lines cutting in, the Brook brush is an amazing brush. Handmade right here with a stainless steel ferrule. It's not going to rust. The handle quality is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Hampton brush. The Hampton is a little bit different. It is a DuPont filament brush also. So the Brook is a DuPont blend. So it's Tinex and Oreo, which is nylon and polyester. It's DuPont's proprietary make of those filaments. And why is DuPont even better anyways? Why is it the best filaments in the world? One of the good things and good qualities about DuPont filaments is they don't absorb water as fast as lesser quality filaments of nylon and polyester. And why that even makes a difference is the more water the filament absorbs and the faster it absorbs it begins losing its stiffness, and then it's just not going to cut in. Once a brush starts to get too soft, it's not going to cut in very well. Now the Hampton is it's not a blended brush. It's all Tinex, which is DuPont's proprietary blend or proprietary filament of nylon, and it's a lot softer than the Brook. And if I was going to try to do cut-ins, I'd probably struggle doing cut-ins with a softer filament brush with thick paints. You may run into some really thin paints. Sherwin's Cashmere is really thin, and if your paint is thin, you probably want not as stiff of a brush, because what happens is it starts to rope the paint a little bit too much, and you might want a little bit softer brush to do cut-ins with a really thin brush. But across the board, I really like a firm brush for all my cut-ins, but I do like the Hampton when it comes to brushing trim. So if I'm doing any brushing of trim, if I got to brush door jambs, window sills, anything, I really like a soft filament brush because it's less likely going to rope your trim. And most paints for interior trim is very thin. The viscosity is pretty low. And so a soft brush works amazing for trim. When it comes to doing ceiling cut-ins, I didn't talk about size. I do like a 3-inch angled sash brush. So it's actually angled, so it makes getting in the corners a lot easier. A larger brush, like a 3-inch, just holds more paint. You can cut farther with your ceiling line. So I like larger brushes. Early in my career, I used for years and years 2.5-inch angled sash brush, and when I switched to a 3-inch, I was amazed how much faster I can do cut-ins. Now, Premier has come out just recently with another brush called the Malibu. And the Malibu, this is a brush that is a nylon polyester blend brush. And to me, it has about the same stiffness as the Montauk, but the difference is this is nylon polyester. It's not a DuPont filament blend right here. So it's just, it's Premier's blend, proprietary blend of nylon and polyester, and they say it's got Viper tip technology. But if you want to save a little bit of money, because nowadays paints, especially exterior paints, they got so many chemicals and dryers in them that making them dry really fast. Painters and your employees aren't cleaning the brushes as often as they have. If they're ruining brushes, you can save some money when it comes to brushes and not buying brushes that have the DuPont filaments in it, because the DuPont filaments, they're the best in the world, but they do cost more. Just to give you kind of a comparison, the nylon polyester blended Malibu, this is about $16.50, I think $17. The Brook paintbrush is about $22. And another good quality about DuPont filaments is they clean up a lot faster and a lot easier. So not only do they hold their stiffness, a lot longer, but they clean up easier. So it's going to be easier to clean your brushes. They're just going to last longer. So you're going to save a little bit of money with a Malibu. Now, I recently tested a Malibu hand brushing and rolling trim on an entire house, a 1950s remodel that I did, and I was using Benjamin Moore Advanced, which is absolutely amazing. This brush with Advanced performed amazingly well. So Advanced was a little bit on the thicker side, and I thought the Hampton was a little bit too soft for brushing and rolling Benjamin Moore Advanced, but the Malibu performed absolutely amazing, and I got really, really good results. And I used the Malibu, and I used also a 2-inch brush also for brushing that trim. And so, the major difference, once again, it's got the same handle quality. You've got their handle quality that's absolutely amazing. I've never seen handles manufactured and done as well as Premier handles. So the Malibu, even though it's significantly cheaper, has the same handle quality, same ferrule quality, same quality across the board that you can expect from a handmade brush. All right, so there you have it. Here's 3 options when it comes to interior brushes. I get asked all the time, what brush should I use for interior painting? I've got 3 great options for you. If you want to just do some brushing and rolling of trim, you want to give the Premier Hampton out DuPont filament brush, absolutely amazing. So the next brush is the Malibu. The Malibu is all latex paints and stains. You can use this brush. It's a great brush for brushing trim. You can also use it for cutting in and doing all interior painting. Now, when it comes to an all-around brush, when it comes to cutting in, there's nothing that cuts in better for me than the Premier Brook right here, but also you can use it for brushing and rolling trim. It's absolutely amazing for a lot of the trim paints out there, but if you're brushing walls or doing any other type of interior painting, this thing works amazingly well. They are the brushes from Premier Paintbrush and Roller, handmade right here in the USA. If you haven't tried them, you gotta give them a try. If you haven't tried the Brook, if you wanna support us here at Paint Life Supply Co. and the brush that we designed, named after my older daughter, Brook, you gotta give that brush a try. I guarantee you, you will be happy. If you've tried these brushes before, let us know in the comment section below what you think of them. If you have a favorite brush for cutting in, if you got a favorite brush for brushing trim or brushing just in rolling, or not rolling because you don't roll with a brush, but brushing in general, just let us know down in the comment section below. If you want to you'll see any other brushes reviewed, just let us know down in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time we come out with a new video. Hopefully this has answered a little bit about your questions that I keep getting. What is a good interior brush to use for you? Right here on Paint Life TV. Out.